I wish yesterday was a day that I was not on YouTube. 'Cause there's a lot of days that I just watch replays late at night and I'm not on these YouTube streets, but unfortunately I was. And I have to say that I was disgusted. Um, just kind of lost for words there. Um, I am not going to use someone's downfall or their situation for content. So I'm only going to go over a little bit about what happened. Not going to use names. Not going to do that. I'm going to share a little bit about my story. Just a little bit. I'm not going to put it all out there. I think mental health is something that needs to be talked about more because it does seem like a lot of people are very open about their mental health issues. And maybe some are suffering in silence. And maybe we can talk about it more. Even though this is a drama community, maybe we can address it more. And I know some people, have tough skin. They have tougher skin than others. Or they want to claim they do. Maybe they don't have any compassion. Maybe they don't have any empathy, but there's others out there that do. The only thing that I'm going to address basically about what happened is some want to claim they're an advocate. Well, really not an advocate, but they want to claim that they stand for something. But yet you turn around and you do the complete opposite. There was no reason. You seen somebody in distress. Somebody that was having a difficult time. What was the end goal for even going to that person's channel, right? Because you want to preach, you want to sit there and preach, just ignore it. Don't talk about it. That's what some want to preach. But yet, instead of doing the same, right? You see someone that's in distress and they really don't care for you. You have to go into their chat and then try to get up on their panel instead of ignoring whatever they're saying, okay? Knowing that they're in distress, knowing, in my opinion, that you just want to fuel it, that you're a trigger to them. In my opinion, it was just to feed the fire, fuel the fire, to make content. Because then, after the situation happened, you had to scurry back over and make a live. And kind of make fun of the situation. Because that's exactly what happened, in the cutesy little voice and basically making fun of it. Now, if this happened to someone you cared about and someone did the exact same thing, God forbid it would be the end of the world. Okay? And you know it. because you guys have been going hardcore for somebody else that basically, in my opinion, started a lot of this situation with lies. Because we've heard it and we've seen it. A lot of lies. Now, people are supposed to ignore the lies and the slander and all that because she's got mental health issues. Well, so does the person that was harassed yesterday. And she's put it out there publicly that she's got mental health issues. But that's ignored. So instead of staying away from her channel, you had to go over there. And when people are in, from what I'm going to say, a breakdown, okay? They're having a total break. Because people are like, well, they let them up on panel. When they're in a mental break, you're not thinking straight. Right? And that seems to be what happened. You know, you're at your lowest point. And yeah, he was up on panel and made things a lot worse. And instead of just bowing out like a decent human would do, they just made it worse. Because clearly, the person that's having a mental break here does not like the person at all that's on the panel. They have a big issue with this person. It's clear. A decent human being would know, for one, not to even go over there. Ignore it. That's what you preach, right? Ignore it. In my opinion, all it was for was to get clout. Something to talk about. What other reason did you have to go over there? Can you come up with a reason? No, because you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit. And I would be saying, and I said this too in a chat, I would be saying this same stuff if it was done to you. If somebody did this to you, if you were having a mental break, which we know you won't, because, you know, you got this tough skin, nothing bothers you, words don't bother you. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit. I've been trying to branch out, you know, give other creators a chance to see if I like their content too. You know, you using the R word. People are okay with that in your chat. They don't care. It's just words. Right? Just words. I see people saying that they have children that have disabilities that are followers. I guess that doesn't bother them. But I bet you if it was somebody off the street that said that, just somebody in random would say that word, oh, it would bother them. Oh, yeah, it would. But since it's someone they're following on YouTube, they want to fit in, doesn't bother them. See, certain words we just don't use anymore because it does offend other people. And, you know, we can be called Karens or whatever, but we just don't say it because we have respect for other people and their feelings. That's why we don't do it. That's the thing. Okay? That's why we don't say them. That's why we don't say the N word. That's why we don't say the R word. That's why we don't do it, because it's not right to do. It offends other people. And we should have some morals. Things have changed than how it used to be. But anyways, you know, we say we stand for something, but yet, you know, in my opinion, I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to say it. The person that we're advocating for, or being the spokesman for, or whatever, like I said, told a bunch of lies. And that's what started this whole entire mess. That's what started this. Absolutely 100%. And a lot of friendships got lost. Okay? I mean, family members kind of at each other's, you know, maybe at each other's throat a little bit over a stranger and her lies and throwing a fit. Something to think about. That also has mental health issues. We couldn't leave well enough alone, right? Stay out of people's, you know, chats, ignore it, practice what we preach. Nope. It's good for me to, you know, I can say it. I can tell people, other people, ignore it, or I'm going to make videos about you. I'm going to go after you if you can't ignore it. But I'm not going to ignore things. No, I'm not going to ignore them. I'm going to make videos and I'm going to try to get those views and clicks for my little followers. What other content would I have? It was pretty disgusting. Like I said, I'm sorry. If the same thing would have happened to somebody else, like the person that did it, I would be saying how wrong it was. Because it was wrong. It was absolutely wrong. And if people don't want to admit that it was wrong, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you have no morals. You know, you don't have empathy. You don't have compassion. The only reason why you're saying that it was fine is because you don't like the person. Plain and simple. And you like the person that did it. Because in real life, you wouldn't accept this. You wouldn't accept it. And then you have some that are like, well, I'm going to kind of, I don't know, go away for a few. Have a good one. They're not calling it out. They'll call everything else out, minor things. Or they'll twist things. But they're not going to call it out because they might be a follower. It's kind of bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. That is why I don't belong to a community. Because it's bizarre. When you want to talk about cult-like, oh God. And then you have another creator that says, I don't care about this person. I'm just worried about who's in somebody else. My people are in this person's this other person's chat, you know, because God forbid that anybody else has a channel and my people, you know, another cult-like behavior, my people, I own ya. My people, you know, my subs, God forbid you have your own channels. I own your channels too. They're over there. These people, you know, are in chat that I don't like, that said things about me. I get it, you know. If they're trash talking you, I get that, but that's not what's happening. Not in that chat. But that's all they're worried about, right? Because they own YouTube. They own all their people. And they're degrading, in my opinion, the hand that feeds them. You know, the subs sitting there treating their subs, talking to them like they're 2-year-olds. Talking very vile to a lot of the subs that basically feeds them. But that's all they're worried about. You know, they said they don't care about this person. I don't give a shit what just happened. Don't give a shit. Didn't even know if this person was okay or not. All they care about is who is in whose chat. That's what it's come down to, okay? We don't care about a human life. We just care about someone else's channel that doesn't belong to you. So we're going to move on from that because, like I said, I don't want to make somebody else's hurt into my content. All right? We've seen enough of it yesterday. Some people don't have that tough skin, okay? They don't have that dark humor. Words hurt. And yes, you know, some people can, if things are a trigger, can log off. That would be the best thing to do, is to log off. But there are creators that are on here and they do this for a living, to support their family, to put food on the table, to pay their bills. So I can now completely understand where they have to keep going, right? They have to keep going on YouTube. But you do have to think about your mental health. You really do. And your physical health, if it's getting too much. And then you have some creators that do even a side business on top of that. They're doing their crafting or whatever on top of just their YouTube. So they have to keep that going. And it's hard. It would be hard for them. I mean, it's kind of like if you have a job outside of the home, right? And trying to take off work because you're sick, either physically or you have a mental issue and you need to take off work. And, you know, with YouTube, you don't get PTO time, right? So it's hard to do, especially when you're counting on, you know, that money, some money. And with YouTube, it's even harder because that money's not guaranteed. Like if you work outside of the home. It's not guaranteed. The super chats are not guaranteed. Memberships, you might be able to, whatever. But PayPal donations, all that stuff is not guaranteed. You have to go live and hope that You know, people will give you super chats and PayPal and, you know, whatever is given. But we're going to have a little talk about, because there seems to be this myth that people that talk about self-harming, if they talk about it a lot, that they're only doing it for attention, and they're not really going to do anything. Seen this a lot yesterday. And I used to think the same way. Don't get me wrong. And there's certain people that I will say, they're only doing it for attention. They're only doing it for attention. But the thing is do you see a pattern? Is there somebody that continuously does this over and over again? I didn't see that with what happened yesterday out of that person. I see it with somebody else on YouTube. But even with somebody where it's a pattern over and over and over again, you still got to take it seriously. Even though you're thinking in your head, here we go again. Some people do use it as a manipulation. They absolutely do. But last August, I lost a dear friend. Known him since high school. And he used to talk about unliving himself all the time. All the time. We would talk on the phone, and I wasn't the only one that he would talk to about it. We have a big circle of friends. Most of us since high school. I said before, we do get-togethers. We have, we get together, we have big gatherings, and he would be a part of that. I'm not the only one he's talked to about this. He's been fighting demons, and that's what he called it too, fighting his demons for a long time, and he talked openly about wanting to end it. And, you know, we would think in our head, here he goes again, and he would even post some stuff on Facebook, you know, that he was just done. And we would think, you know, he's just wanting attention. And he had some difficulties with his ex-wife trying to get visitation, just trying to see his kids. They're adults now. But he had to fight tooth and nail, spend thousands of dollars on an attorney just to get to see his kids, which he shouldn't have had to do. Now, when it came to material items, I mean, he had a good job, he had a nice Harley, he had a nice vehicle, nice home, he had all of those things. But he was suffering with mental health issues. He was suffering with depression. And we would all listen to him. But were we getting sick of hearing it over and over again that he was going to do this? Absolutely. Because it was the same song and dance, right? He was looking for attention, right? Last August, I got a phone call from one of my other good friends. I have to say she's one of my best friends. And she told me, she's like, you got Facebook on? You know, because it's on my phone. The app's on my phone, and it's, you know, just hit the button, it's right there. I'm like, no, what's going on? And I'm not going to say his name, and she's like, he's on live right now. We're trying to reach out to him. Something's going on. So I went to his Facebook page, and he's doing a live. And he is sobbing and crying. He's sitting in his vehicle, and you can tell he's in a parking lot, but that's it. You can't tell where it's at. And there's a chat just going. He's not looking at it at all. And he is talking about ending his life. And he was talking about a relationship that ended. And I'm thinking, are you serious? Now, he was very upset and he was crying uncontrollably. I wasn't used to this out of him. But I'm still thinking to myself, no, he's going to be all right. This is just him being depressed again. He'll be fine. But still, I'm taking it seriously. So I jumped off of that and I start calling him. He wasn't answering. It was going to voicemail. And I just knew he wasn't answering. He was on that live. He wasn't going to answer. Other people were saying, on the live that they were trying to call him. He wasn't answering. Then I see his daughter in the chat. And she's saying, Daddy, please no. Don't. Call me. Daddy, please call me. I'm trying to call you. He wasn't reading it. He was looking around out the windows. And he looked at something. He looked down at something on his lap. You couldn't see it. And he was talking about this girl that he was dating, and they had a falling out. They didn't date long. And he said that he ruined that relationship, and she was the best thing that ever happened to him. And then the last thing that he said was, he said, can somebody please go to my house and take care of my dog? And I am sorry. I hope God forgives me. And nobody wants to see this. And then the live goes dead. So then everybody, my phone's blowing up. Everything is blowing up. They're trying to locate him. And I'm still thinking to myself, he's wanting the attention. He's reaching out. He's trying to whatever. About 45 minutes later, I get a phone call from another male friend. And he told me he's gone. I'm like, I guess I was in shock. I don't know what I was in. I'm like, what do you mean he's gone? And he's like, they found him. They pinged his phone. And he shot himself in his car. It was at a Walmart. So this is a man that I would have never thought, even though I knew was suffering, that he had issues. One thing he did say in the video too that I forgot was that the demons have finally won. They finally won. He talked about it a lot. He absolutely did. And my friend that I said is my best friend, she talked to him that night. The night before. She says she feels so guilty because he was depressed then, and they talked a lot about, his depression, and she said he did not talk about self-harming, or that he wanted to. Just about, the ex-girlfriend and so on. And he basically was up the entire night. It's coming up close to a year. Just doesn't seem like it's been a year. And I miss him. I absolutely miss him. He was one of those guys that would drop. He was a big, muscular guy. He would drop whatever he was doing to help anybody out. He would be the shoulder to cry on. You know, if you had a problem, you could call him up. And he would listen. If you needed help with your yard, if you needed help with anything, he would be there. He was there for his friends. I just wish we could have been there for him, you know. We tried. We absolutely tried. I just don't think that he knew how much we really cared. Or maybe he did. And maybe everything was just too much for him. I don't know. I don't know. So then I'm going to talk about my ex-husband. My ex-husband is another one that talked about self-harming for years. I married him when I was young. Very young. Had my first daughter when I was young. And I already said that I'm a survivor of domestic violence from him. Okay? I'm not a victim. Rose above that. And I forgave him for everything that he did. And we actually were on pretty good terms when this happened. And I did a video back in March when it happened. March 6th is when he did this in front of my kids. In front of our kids. And like I said, he has talked about it, and he was one of those people that wanted the attention centered around him, and if it wasn't, he would seek out the attention. I said before that he was a survivor of lung cancer. I don't even know how that was possible. He didn't even finish his chemo, but he did. He survived COVID. He was scared to death to die when he had lung cancer. He was scared to death when he had COVID. He had it so bad. And he was scared to be alone. One of my kids had to be with him 24/7. He was scared, and he had the COVID like shortly before he passed. And he even told me how scared he was. And he talked about constantly about wanting to die. He didn't want to be here anymore. But yet that day, for no apparent reason at all, and yes, he suffered mental health issues for as long as I can remember. And he wouldn't get treatment. He got treatment at at times throughout the years that we were together. And then he quit taking medicine. I don't know what treatment that he would get or start or whatever after we got divorced. But he started a lot of stuff with my kids. They would go months without talking to him, and then they would talk to him again, and things would be fine until he had another episode and he would become dangerous or not good for them. He lost it that day, all over my children helping his neighbor move a camper. And after being scared of the COVID and after being scared, with the lung cancer, he went in the house and grabbed his gun and 5 feet away from my kids, shot himself in the head. And now all 3 of my children have been diagnosed with PTSD. And my son-in-law from, the military, he already had PTSD. But now it's even gotten worse, as you can imagine, what they've seen. Like I said before, it was bad enough that their father, even with the issues they had, they loved him. And I know their father loved them, even though he did not know how to show his love. And he was a very good grandfather. He was. My grandkids are suffering. They miss him. They absolutely miss him. But he talked about it all the time. Even to me, after, the divorce, I said we were on decent terms, texting, and sometimes he would even call me to talk about the kids or what was going on. He lived in the same state as my kids do. Or just to talk about something in general, because like I said, I forgave him. I don't think he ever forgave himself for what he did, but I forgave him because I was not going to be his victim anymore. I was the survivor. And the only way that I could move forward is to forgive him, right? And I wasn't scared of him anymore. It took a while, because this man, even after our divorce, he stalked me. And he made my life a living hell for years afterwards. But I was able to forgive him. I was able to keep my children safe. And he knows I have a mouth on me now. And I won't put up with the bullshit. The laws have changed. They're not like they were back then, right? So he knew that I wasn't going to play his game anymore. But my kids are still suffering. They go through that. I hate him. I love him. I miss him. I hate him, for what he did. On doing this in front of them, for losing their father. I mean, like I said, they lost their father. They lost him to suicide, and they lost him to doing it right in front of them. That image, they will never get out of their head. They'll never get that out of their head. They were that close to him. So we cannot stand here and say that people that say this over and over and over, they're not going to do it. Because it happens. And it happens daily. It might not be the norm, okay? There's a lot of people that suffer in silence and they do it without saying a word to anybody. But there's a lot of people that reach out and they say it and they do it. So take it seriously every single time. I didn't. You can be kind, okay? If someone is saying, I've had enough, I have had enough, then stop. Or reach out a hand, even if you don't like them. Just asking, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Or just stopping your bullshit to let them have a breather would be a nice gesture, okay? Not going over in their territory to terrorize them or to show your presence when you know that you're one of their triggers and they're already having a breakdown. That's not helping them, all right? That's making it worse, and you know it. No matter how you want to twist it and turn it like a pretzel, like you were being the good person, no, you were being their trigger. And some might want to say, well, this can go for another person too that, is having issues and they're asking people to stop. Absolutely. But that same person needs to stop too and stop spreading around lies to cause the drama, That's the problem, right? Right? Because that's what they're doing. That's what's causing some of the issues. They're going around to this person, to that person, maybe their own wall, and they're talking about this person, that person, this person, and they're telling lies about this person, that person, this person. And then when the person they're telling lies about says, I didn't say that. That's not what was said. And they say something. Then the other person is like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Well, stop telling lies. Okay? And stop bringing the other person up. It's that simple. Right? It's that simple. And that's what should be told to that person. Stop bringing them up. Stop posting about them. It's a two-way street here. You can't ask one person that has mental health issues not to clap back and say the other one can get away with it and get away with telling lies. Because no matter if you have mental health issues or not, telling lies about somebody, I'm sorry, that you shouldn't get a pass for that. Because then the other person that the lies are being told about, they have every right to correct that and to prove, to say something to prove that no, that didn't happen. And it's bullshit when they are being told, nope, you should just ignore it and not clear up the lies, okay? Especially if it's about a child. Or saying a child is being attacked. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. Okay? It absolutely did not happen. This has to stop. This is what I'm talking about. This is some more real life stuff. It's one thing to clap back. Okay? But this real life stuff, this isn't okay. This is not okay. Y'all know it. It's not okay. I've seen a lot of people in chat said they're about done with YouTube. They're about done. This is a very toxic circle. It is. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. I mean, the drama, fine. You're going to have people bickering back and forth. But when it comes down to something like this and some of the other nasty things, I mean, you got to ask yourself, how old are you again? How old? Seriously? It's like some people need to be put in timeout. And I said it. Some people, you just weren't raised right. You couldn't have been. You couldn't have been raised right. Because you don't act it. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I think I'm going to end it there. I got to get on with my day. It was horrible yesterday. Absolutely horrible. And mental health, mental illness is no joke. It's no joke. Now, I did say I was going to end it, but I am going to say this. I'm one of the lucky ones. I have been through a very rough childhood. I know I said I'm a lucky one. I didn't have parents to raise me, okay? Like I said, I'm going to release my story on growing up and, you know, maybe the abuse with my ex. But I didn't have, you know, I didn't turn to criminal activity, which I'm not, you know, putting myself on a pedestal or down on anybody that has a criminal past. I could have very well ended up doing that, right? That can happen to any of us. I was just, I was a lucky one, okay? I didn't have any addictions. And statistics, if you want to go by that, especially being a domestic violence survivor, if you look at the stats, and with mental health, I have a few panic attacks here and there, okay? Nothing major, nothing I can't deal with. Don't happen that often. Depression, no, I'm pretty good with that. I had a lot when I was in that marriage. I seen counselors and doctors, and you know what they told me: you need to get out of this marriage before he kills you, because it is what it is. And they did try to put me on medication. Medication, you know, made me ill. I didn't take it again. But, you know, basically, I was in a, how was I supposed to feel? I was in a horrible marriage that was abusive. But I was lucky because besides your every, you know, feeling depressed here and there just because of life situations, I don't have any of that. Okay? I don't. My kids now have PTSD because of what they had to witness and what they're going through. And I don't know. I was never diagnosed with any of that stuff. I mean, do I have it, not know it? I don't know. I mean, I feel fine. I function fine. I don't feel like I have any of that. I mean, oh yeah, I can get mad. I know I act very calm and collective when I do my videos, but I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get really ticked off and I can F-bomb just like the rest of them, okay? But when I say I'm lucky is I don't suffer from these things that I very well, you know, like the rest of people out there, not the rest, but a lot of people out there can suffer from. But I've been around it. So I can understand people's feelings and sympathize. And it very well could have been me. I was lucky in the aspect that I don't suffer from all these things. At least I was never diagnosed, and I don't feel like I suffered. I feel like that I need to de-stress because I really have a lot on my plate, and that's about it. And then I hear everybody else's, you know, when they talk that they're suffering from all these things, and my heart goes out to them, and they're, you know, these are strangers to me, but I have the compassion and my heart goes out to them because they're open about it. So yes, I consider myself very lucky because with what I have went through in my life, with my childhood growing up in the foster care system, okay, and then being in an abusive marriage for so long, my life could have been totally different in a heartbeat, in a flash. I mean, things could have been totally different. I am very, very lucky. And I have very tough skin. Trust me, very tough. Very tough. Why do I have that tough skin? Because I had the ex of 15 years that gave me that tough skin. Now, I'm not a man hater either. As a matter of fact, I advocate for men because I think they do get a raw deal. I really do. Especially when it comes to children and their rights. Just like I was talking about my friend that passed away. He shouldn't have had to have spent so much money just to get rights to his child or his children. I mean, that's insane. He did nothing wrong either. It's not like he did anything to, you know, any type of abuse or anything like that. It was just, it was nuts. I mean, why should you have to visit your children? I mean, you both make the children. You both should be able to co-parent and do it. It just, it's insane. I have a lot of men that are friends. A lot of men that have got screwed over. Okay? So I'm not this man hater. By no means. I have a lot of men that are friends that have told me stories of the crazy exes, and I have seen it firsthand too. So I think men do get, and I'm going to say it, they do get a raw deal out of a lot of things because they're the man, they're the stronger of the sexes, right? So, you know, I'm not one of those feminists by no means. But I have tough skin. Very tough. So I'm going to go on that. I think that we do, and I heard some creators say that they're going to be talking about some, you know, more on mental health. And I really hope so. I would love to do that because we have some other creators saying, you know, like I said, I got tough skin, you know, nothing bothers me. Well, there's a lot of people out there where they have triggers, okay? And things do bother them. It might not bother you, but it bothers them. And so there are creators that actually care about other people. And so, yeah, it would be nice instead of just drama all the time, some other things. That's called content too. Just saying. So I'm going to go. Everyone have a great day, and we'll just catch you again.